Wait a minute. I thought my favorite Yenta, Asuncion. I thought my son was supposed to be on her best behavior. I thought the Radiant Sun Hostin was supposed to be turning up the radiance and turning down the rhetoric. Did I miss something? Was I mistaken in thinking that? I'm pretty sure I have been hearing rumors that Sun Hostin is on thin ice. Walking on broken glass. I'm pretty sure I have been hearing that Sun is on the hot seat. Her seat is warmer than the actual sun. Her job is at risk. Her woke welfare could be expiring very soon. Hell, the entire panel of ladies on The View should be worried because now they're going to have actual competition. Did you guys see the announcement earlier this week from Rob Schneider? Earlier this week, Bobby the Schneider, he was on Fox News and he announced that his production company was releasing a new talk show. The show is going to feature women and only women. There will be no masculinity allowed on this show, including the toxic kind of masculinity. But Rob Schneider, he is putting together a group of funny, relatable women, and he's going to have them make jokes and talk about things that are important to real women. Well, KC, are they going to talk about gender-affirming care? If they're talking about firing the doctor who tried to prescribe puberty blockers to their Cocker Spaniel, then yes, they'll be talking about gender-affirming care. Otherwise, they're going to talk about the day-to-day things that normal women deal with. Raising kids, work-life balance, navigating marital issues with their husbands. All of which were born with a natural set of Franken beans. No surgery required. These husbands, they were born with a natural cucumber. Who knows? Maybe some of them were even lucky enough to have it supersized. But what I thought was most interesting about this announcement was the reason that Rob Schneider is creating this show. The idea behind creating this show is to give normal women a platform. According to Rob Schneider, even though his show will be competing with The View, it's gonna be a Yenta-free zone. And I wonder if this has anything to do with the rumors that there could be a cast shakeup on The View. I wonder if executives at ABC see the threat of competition and realize we have got to clean up this garbage. Right now, there seems to be a split between the Yentas. I have been telling you guys for weeks now about the ongoing tension, but there seems to be a split. There seems to be a couple of ladies who are willing to change, and there seems to be a couple of others trying to resist. One of those is the lovely Ann Navarro, the same Ann Navarro who complains about the age of the Trumper while being married to a man his age. Anne doesn't want an aging fossil sleeping in the White House, but she doesn't mind having one sleeping in her bed. The other lady that seems to be resistant to change is my personal favorite, Sunny Hostin. Yesterday morning, Sunny Hostin, she was up to her usual antics. She was combating the boodle breeze from the whoopee cushion with a flurry of toxic mouth farts. It's the same rhetoric that has Sunny Hostin in the risky position that she is in, where her woke welfare could expire once she gets fired. But apparently, my son doesn't seem to give a shit about that, because yesterday morning, she was once again spreading false narratives. This time, Sunny Hostin was trying to convince the audience of lonely women that America is a dangerous, violent country. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel in the description below. This morning on the second channel, we talked about the panic throughout the NBA right now. Ratings are declining on top of the declines from last year. This doofus in-season tournament, it's a huge embarrassing failure. I wonder who could have predicted that. And now it's being reported that executives at NBC are starting to regret overpaying for this steaming turd. If you want the full story, head over to the second channel and subscribe. Yesterday morning, our lovely ladies on The View, they were talking about Luigi. Now, I'm not talking about Luigi from Mario and Luigi. I'm talking about the dude who is suspected in the murder of Brian Thompson, the CEO from United Healthcare. Unlike Jim Kimmel, who was damn near spanking the wanker to shirtless pictures of Luigi. You know, Jim, if you're looking for a steady supply of photos of shirtless men, you can always contact Chris Cuomo. Hey, it's me, Chrissy C! Chrissy's got plenty of pictures of himself with nothing covering his bosoms. If you're lucky, maybe he will even take requests. You can ask Chrissy C to put a cigar in his mouth for your viewing pleasure. Anyway, unlike Jim Kimmel, the ladies on The View, they were not drooling over Luigi yesterday morning. Instead of drooling, Sun Hostin was shedding fake tears over how violent America has become. This country was built on violence. I'm not surprised to see people celebrating violence. Violence, violence, violence! Ah! Sun was talking about the fact that, well, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know what the hell Sun Hostin was talking about, and I am proficient in Yenta. I speak their language, but I don't think Asuncion even knows what Sun Hostin was talking about. It seemed like she was subtly trying to justify the violence while also complaining about America being a violent country. Hell, I don't know. Watch it for yourself.
We have a terrible healthcare system, and doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance, and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid. But the notion that we are in a violent country, this country was built on violence. We're a very violent country. And it's just undeniable that that's the case. And so I'm not, unfortunately, surprised that people are celebrating the use of violence. I'm not surprised that this young man thought that change could be accomplished through violence.
There seemed to be a lot of balls on that set. Did you notice that? I thought this show was allergic to balls, but there were all kinds of balls hanging off those big stumps. Anyway, I do partially agree with Sun Hostin here. Healthcare system in America, it sucks. Now, obviously, it's not the worst system in the world. There are countries with far worse healthcare than America, but the main problem with the healthcare system in America is the insurance industry. Back in September, had to take my wife to the ER. She ended up spending, I think it was 3 days in the hospital. Last month, I had to take our teenager to the ER because the doofus urgent care refused to treat her. She told them that she was feeling lightheaded and might pass out. I guess they were afraid of the liability, so they sent us to the damn ER. She ended up having pneumonia, which is what I figured that she had. She spent a few hours in the emergency room, and they sent us home with some medicine. Wife was there for 3 days. The kid was there for a few hours. Now, guess how much it cost? Just take a wild guess. Between the two of them, with insurance already included, it cost $10,000. Now, we're not talking about major problems here. We're not talking about serious procedures. We're talking tests and x-rays along with 3 days in the hospital because they were sitting with their stethoscope in their ass. $10,000. So, I get it. I understand the frustration with the healthcare system. What I don't understand is Sun Hostin claiming America's a violent country. We solve our problems with guns, which should be illegal. I thought this was interesting coming from Sun Hostin. Correct me if I'm wrong here. When the Trumper was attacked this past summer, wasn't the prevailing narrative throughout the mainstream media that violent crime was going down in America? When Trump would complain about the bruised caboose that the media kept calling the southern border, wouldn't they utilize the services of Mina Kimes and come up with these obscure statistics claiming that violent crime was on the decline? Wasn't that the media narrative just a few months ago? If so, how does a couple of months go by and all of a sudden, Sun Hostin claims that America is now a violent country? I'm telling you, Something seems to be going on with The View. Since the election, I have noticed a difference in the Whoopi Cushion and Elizabeth Farrah Griffin. They both appear to be the voices of reason, while Ann Navarro and Sunny Hostin are still on the same bullshit. Well, KC, what about the anonymous blonde? Have you seen a change in her? In order to see a change, first I would have to see her. Honestly, I forgot she was even on the show. In terms of providing content, she is completely useless. I have been covering this show for 3 years. I don't think I have ever shared a clip with you guys of the Anonymous Blonde. 3 years covering this show. I don't even know her damn name. She literally just sits there converting oxygen to carbon dioxide so the whoopee cushion has a steady supply of gas for the boodle breeze. That's her only purpose. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but something just feels different about The View. It feels like changes could be coming. I don't know if it's because the election and how the election was essentially a rejection of the mainstream media. I don't know if it's because their ratings are struggling or because Rob Schneider is giving them competition. I don't know, but there is definitely tension between the Yentas, and something is causing that tension. We have seen arguments, we have seen fights in the past, but in the 3 years I have been covering The View, I have never seen it with this much regularity, this much consistency. Are changes coming to The View? Could we see the woke welfare expire for a couple of the ladies? You tell me. Also, give me your thoughts on Sunny Hostin claiming that America is a violent country. Throughout the summer, the media is telling us that crime is on the decline. Trump becomes president and something like this happens. All of a sudden, America is a violent country again. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.